his statement, and I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Brazil.
Señor Presidente, distinguidos colegas, Brasil.
Distinguished colleagues, Brazil aligns itself made by St. Vincent and the Grenadines on behalf of the Economic Community of Latin American Caribbean states, and that made by Uganda on behalf of the Group of 77 in China, and we present this in our national capacity. I welcome the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cuba, His Excellency Mr. Bruno Rodriguez Parilla, and I would like to thank the Secretary-General for his report A/78/84 on this theme. My delegation reiterates its firm opposition to the economic, commercial and financial embargo imposed by the United States of America against Cuba and the application of extraterritorial national commercial laws that are discriminatory. We do not agree with the imposition of unilateral sanctions of any kind. The only legitimate sanctions are those which are adopted by the Security Council in the context of its exercise of its competence in regard to maintenance of international peace and security and in conformity with Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. Over many years, we've been asking for the normalization of relations with Cuba by the government of the United States of America. Our rejection of the economic, commercial, and financial embargo imposed by the United States of America against Cuba since 1962 is almost of international consensus. The sanctions imposed against Cuba have not just generated significant losses for the country in monetary terms over the last 60 years. In qualitative terms, it's also affected, without doubt, and continues to affect the full enjoyment of the rights of the Cuban people. It prejudices the poorest people who are affected by these unilateral measures through unemployment. The embargo is also an obstacle for the efforts by Cuba to achieve sustainable development goals. Mr. President, the inclusion of Cuba on a list of states sponsoring terrorism of the United States on the 12th of January 2021 worsens the impact of the economic embargo. Putting them on this list lacks any justification, and therefore we call for Cuba to be removed from that list. Enhancing economic relations with Cuba is the proper path to be followed by all countries who are interested in supporting the development of that island and improving the living conditions of millions of Cuban citizens. President Lula, in his opening statement at the 78th session of the General Assembly on the 19th of September, said that Brazil will continue to denounce any measures that are not supported by the UN Charter, such as the economic financial embargo against Cuba, and the intent to list that country as a state co-sponsor of terrorism. This statement today enhances this important and urgent appeal. Mr. President, in conclusion, Brazil will vote in favor of the draft resolution 78L5. Thank you very much.
I should like to thank the distinguished representative of Brazil